So, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. Today, we are once again having a fucking episode with some video. So this is me. This is how I look like. For whatever reason, I've been having some software issues, still having. Might be a bootcamp thing, might be a Windows on MacBook thing, might be whatever. I don't really know, and at this point, it's just what it is. I mean, yeah, period. It is just what it is. But today I'm back. And today we are gonna have a look at at one of those book summary sites, because I'm willing to go through another one. Yesterday we kind of were talking a bit about Seth Godin's The Dip, because it is an amazing book and an amazingly interesting book, and I would also say an amazingly useful book as well. Why? Because it is about something that a lot of professionals and people in general are having to go through, and therefore it is useful and good and great. Can I do this? Does this make sense? No, it really does not. Anyway. So let's actually see. Let us see. Am I still having something open? I do have the SamuelThomasDavid.com site open, so we might actually be checking this one out. I haven't been on it for a while, so let's see. Book summaries. This is my phone. I should probably turn it off. The last one was The Gap and the Gain by Benjamin Hardy. I don't know what The Gap and the Game is all about. So let's see. The High Achiever's Guide to Happiness, Confidence and Success. The Gap and the Gain. Let's go through it. We all have an quote-unquote ideal, a moving target that is always out of reach. When we measure ourselves against that ideal, we are in the gap, or GAP maybe. When we measure ourselves against our previous selves, we are in the gain. Being in the gain has enormous psychological effects, including bolstering, motivation, confidence, and future success. So I do want to repeat again. When we measure ourselves against our previous selves, yesterday, the day before, whatever it may be, it has some positive psychological effects. Instead of comparing ourselves to quote-unquote moving target, something that we are not, a type of person that we are maybe willing to be and looking forward to be and trying to be, but we sometimes just have to admit we are not this person, period. Which, I mean, it makes sense that it does have some psychological drawbacks, or thinking so. But on the other hand, I would also say that maybe, just maybe, there are some things that are good about that way of thinking. Like just trying to be better, trying to become better, trying to do better, trying to, achieve more. I'm just having to very quickly try and see whether this is useful in some way. Yes, it kind of is, because I feel like it is blinding me just really a lot. So there we go. I can't see anything. That's great, I guess. I think. Hello? Am I actually having the right microphone activated? I don't really know, and it seems to be a bit laggy today. Is it? Might be. I don't know. Properties. No, it should be fine. The Gap and the Gain summary. Apparently, the introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, 5, and also 6. Introduction. You're in the gap every time you measure yourself or your situation against an ideal. And while ideals are meant to provide direction, motivation, and meaning to our lives, they are not the measuring stick. Hardy writes, and this is a quote now, being in the gain means you measure yourself backward against where you were before. You measure your own progress. You don't compare yourself to something external. You don't measure yourself against your ideals. Which, I mean, in this first kind of section of the book, it was portrayed as something, you know, very cool. You're not comparing yourself to those celebrities and whatnot. But it can also be frustrating. It can also be bad when you realize that maybe you have failed in some or the other way. Maybe you have done this, maybe you've done that. Whatever it may be, it's not making you happy when you realize that you've done better before, and it may not necessarily be that motivating. It might be devastating. You might feel defeated. You might feel like, I have dropped something, maybe a habit, and whatever. Chapter 1, embrace the freedom of once. Quote-unquote, once. The gap is based on an unhealthy, quote-unquote, need or attachment to something outside yourself. You're trying to free yourself from something, and until you do, you won't be happy. When you're in the gap, you're avoiding, quote-unquote, here, while trying to get there, but never actually arriving there. By contrast, the gain is based on being in harmony with what you want and knowing that you don't need it. When you're in the gain, you live your life based on intrinsic motivation and harmonious passion, which creates flow and high performance. This enables you to commit 100% and pursue what you want without unhealthy attachments. Journaling questions, which is interesting. I'm sorry. Journaling questions, I myself do not journal, but I think it is recommendable though. But I think I talk enough. Writing is pretty close to thinking, I'd say, way closer than talking is. But something that I do notice pretty often is that when I'm recording and I'm talking about things that might be bothering me, things that are going on in my life, it really does help me, because I'm getting out of my head, and through this talking process I also do realize things, relatively often things that I have not noticed before. And so this is great. I like it and I love it. But still, I think journaling can be useful. It is work, and it is another task that is on your to-do list, unless you're making it's something that is not part of your to-do list, but something that just helps you, as, I don't know, working out is, or whatever you like doing as well. Are there any areas in your life where you have obsessive passion? If so, what unresolved internal need are you trying to fill? What about your life and work do you love? What is your long game? When you're planning the long game, you're doing what you love. You're not doing something just to get somewhere else. Do you have a long enough timetable to truly slow down and enjoy being here? Or are you trying to quickly get there? Look at your life right now. What are all the gains you can think of? How would you prioritize change if you were playing the long game? Very interesting thought and very interesting question, but I also think a very important question, because it is actually also something that I'm realizing sometimes. These questions, this way of thinking, puts you in a place of being present, or at least more present than always trying to get there as fast as you possibly can. It is a very future-oriented lifestyle, and a very future-oriented life in general, way of living, which is not necessarily great when you're always living in the future. And I feel like I've had that feeling, sometimes I still have it, of, well, not being in the present. And it is not a very great feeling. Might also be just, relatively close to being stressed, maybe also being unhappy because you're not in the position you want to be in, and so on and so forth. But on the other hand, is this what life should be about, or is about? trying to get somewhere as fast as you possibly can because you like the goal, but you really hate the process. Hopefully not hate the process. I don't know, I think enjoying the process and enjoying the life, enjoying the everyday is important and makes sense. I mean, why should I not have such a life? Why shouldn't I have such a life where I enjoy every day? And I would argue that quite often, for some people sometimes, it is just due to us or ourselves that we do not enjoy our everyday or day-to-day because of the way we think, because of the way we are structuring it, because of the way we maybe do things, and so on and so forth. Many reasons for why this might be the case. But yeah, great questions. Really, really great questions. And with this also being said, I'm going to end the episode here. I wish you the best and hopefully see you soon. So, bye-bye.